Hello everybody, welcome back to the Redmen TV. After Liverpool absolutely battered West Ham United, well and truly hammered them, if you'll pardon the dreadful pun, 5-0 at the London Stadium. 5 different goal scorers. They were powerless to resist. We were unbelievable, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and this is the part of the night where we talk about it and we just spend the next 20 minutes or so saying how boss Mo Salah is, how boss Alexis Mac Allister is, how boss Liverpool are, full stop. And then we do the bit where we all rate the players and then we all go home and enjoy the rest of our evening stroke Christmas period stroke year, because that was Liverpool signing off 2024 in some style. And the chat is absolutely buzzing, as is the Venus, and rightfully so, because, my word, listen, we've all been getting carried away in terms of Liverpool and what is possible and what we can achieve. And I just bring up the comment slander, can we get carried away? Yeah, we can. I think we can. Everyone gets carried away at different stages, and everyone starts to believe and starts to think that the name may well be on the title and all that sort of stuff, and all those positive, amazing dreams and thoughts that we all have at different stages, basically, when it comes to watching the season, how it devolves. Everyone has sort of different staging points and different amount of matches, or everyone needs to see a certain amount of football before they go, okay, now I'm fully invested and now I believe we can do X, Y, Z this season. I've been maybe a little late to the party in that sense, in that I like to see a certain amount of a side. And I like to see a certain amount of a side in different sort of situations as well. Often it's not the setback, it's the comeback in games and how you react to certain moments and how you react to certain, like I say, things going against you, and it feels like you are getting knocks and knocks and knocks. But now I feel like we've had enough knocks. And today, in a weird way, was another sort of element of that, because we were brilliant, but then Areola was having a really good game against us, and it felt like it was sort of us against him at some point, and we were doing everything right, and so much of football was boss, but we just kept going and kept going and kept believing. Areola making save after save after save. What was so interesting about today's performance, and we'll talk about the boss stuff in a minute, but if you'll bear with me, is that when we lost Joe Gomez, seemingly to a hamstring injury, the only negative to come from today, really, it felt as though West Ham had hit the post recently as well in the game, and then we lose Joe Gomez. That could easily put a bit of a dampener on everything you're trying to do. Liverpool reacts in the best possible way and go up the other end and score twice in the space of 5 minutes. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. The way we're reacting to stuff and the way we're dealing with games right now. And West Ham are crap. Let's have it right. West Ham, for the players they own, are bang average. Lopetegui, it wouldn't surprise me if in the next 15 minutes whilst I'm sat here, he got the bullet, because he's not good enough, in my opinion, to manage that side. And West Ham aren't a top 6 football team in terms of the makeup of their squad, but they're a top half football team in terms of the makeup of their squad. Like Mohamed Kudus, Jared Bowen, they're good players, good players, but yeah, he ain't the guy. He ain't that guy. But that's not to say Liverpool just weren't electric today. Absolutely. Mo Salah, some of the passing, and you know what was so interesting about today as well? I'll dive into the chat in more detail in a minute, so bear with me again, sorry. Some of the goals that weren't, and some of the assists that weren't, some of the passes. There's one at the end for Trent where he just dinks one over the top. I think it's Kilman, finds Salah, and Salah fires over. Some of the goals that we could have scored, and some of the imagination we've shown in some of the passes, and some of Mac Allister's touch into Salah as well, and the assist would have been an absolute piss take. We were a joy to watch. Joy to watch. I'll deal with the super chat first, and then I've got another comment I want to bring up. Distressed Wrangler Jeans, which is one hell of a YouTube name. No minutes for Darwin. He's out in the summer. Maybe he might be out in the summer. The only reason I would suggest he didn't get any minutes today is because he won the lads a yellow card away from being suspended. And why risk that when you're cruising 4-5-0 in the game by the time you could have brought him on? So yeah, I'm not sure there was anything in the Darwin Núñez no minutes today. There might have been something in no Chiesa. That's a different topic altogether. But yeah, I wouldn't read too much into Darwin not getting on the pitch, like I say, because that suspension hanging over his head. This isn't, we weren't even, and yeah, other lads did need minutes. Simicast and Elliott, both examples of that, so absolutely spot on as well. But there's nothing. Terry happier with a clean sheet. Yeah, and I think It's a good point, especially on the road. We've not been watertight Benish yesterday, and they had a couple of moments. Mohamed Kudus mainly involved in them. But yeah, the clean sheet will please Alisson, obviously Virgil, and the defensive unit as a whole. And Joel Quansah, when he came on, I thought he was sound, by the way. But it will definitely please Arne Slot a hell of a lot, because he is a perfectionist. And the Spurs game was the biggest example I've got of this, where we were obviously brilliant and we obviously got all 3 points and we were irresistibly good in attack. I think the concession of 3 goals would have done his head in a bit. So to do that today in the style and in the manner that we did will make him over the moon. Like, there's very, very little he could pick at today's game and go, we need to be better there. This could be the first time when it comes to tomorrow's morning analysis and watching back the highlights and what they need to work on. It might take 5 minutes, because there's very little they could pick apart, which again speaks to how dominant and how good we were. Just remarkable form. Yeah, the Gomez injury is the biggest one. If anyone hears anything on that, by the way, whilst I'm sat here on a slot, will speak, might even have spoke. If anyone does see any feedback or any news about Joe Gomez, do let me know. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but it did look like a little hamstring tweak, which is a shame, of course. Yeah, let's deal with the Trent thing, shall we? Momentarily. I hope Wayne's right, by the way. But let's deal with the Trent thing. Interesting is a good way of describing it. I said to Aaron as we were setting up to come onto this show then a minute ago, that to me screams, and I'm going to say something quite bold here, that to me screams all the nonsense, what now can be perceived as nonsense from Spain over the past couple of days, from Marca and NAS, which are generally mouthpieces from Madrid anyway. That just tells me that's not true. Because Trent will be fully aware, of course he will, of what's been getting said over the past 48 hours. And for him to celebrate and to instantly have the presence of mind to celebrate in that manner just says that that isn't the case. Like, I can't read into it any other way. And I wouldn't go as far as say it means he's definitely staying. I hope that is the case, of course. But it almost immediately tells me that just isn't true. Like, all the noise, all the speculation, all the talk around him being one step away or just a signature away from Madrid or whatever it was, however it was framed, that's just not right. Like, the negotiations will still be going on. They'll still be happening. Liverpool will still be trying to make him stay. And yeah, fingers crossed that can be the case. Diane Butler, this result is coming at the end of a brilliant week for me. Looking forward to what 2025 has in store. Yeah, you and me both, Diane. Hope you had a boss Christmas as well. And hope all is good. He didn't just cup his ear. Is this about... He gave it the whole talking, like too much noise type thing. So yeah, it tells me things are not all over when it comes to Trent potentially sticking around for a few more years yet. Fingers crossed. I'll hold you to that, but I'm a non-drinker, would you believe it? I'm the only non-drinker, I think, in the building. But thanks. Anyway, do it, by all means, and I'll just spectate and have a good time regardless. Thank you very much. I don't know what that next bit means. Thanks. I'm feeling better. I am better. I have been tired recently. Christmas is a busy time, man. And Liverpool play a lot. So yeah, I have been tired. And 4-month-old baby will take some energy away from you. But yeah, I'm all good. I am all good. I massively appreciate the care. Yeah, Salah is a genius. Again, the quality of Mohamed Salah today. The Jota assist right at the end, the run from his own half, and then the wherewithal just to wait and delay the pass and to sucker more defenders in, then release Jota at just the right time. The goals that he scores, like, he's just... We are so blessed to watch Mohamed Salah play for his football club every week. Like, he breaks records every time he plays. Every single time he plays, he breaks records. There was 2 more that fell today. 8th consecutive season of 20-plus goals in all comps. And the second one was the first player ever, I think I'm right in saying, to do a certain amount of numbers that have this completely escaped me now. I did tweet it out before, but it's completely gone. In terms of goals and assists, like, he's broken another first ever record in the Premier League today. The fella is an absolute joke. And just, again, phenomenal. And he could have walked away with 3 or 4 goals today. He was that good, and nobody would have batted an eyelid. Like, credit to Areola, denied him a couple of times. A couple of chances he probably will feel like he could have done better with. Walks away with 2 assists instead. And the touch for the Gakpo goal. Yeah, Bruce, you and me both, my mate. You and me both. And I've seen people question whether he meant it or not, but I don't know how you can even question Mo Salah at this point. Like, he's gone from one season wonder, he's gone from Chelsea flop to one season wonder to 8-season genius. Like, defies logic. And yet still people question him. And yet still people have the audacity to claim that Eden Hazard is fit enough to lace his boots. He was never fit enough to lace his boots. Let's have it right. Good player. And I quite enjoyed watching him on his day. But my word, he pales into insignificance compared to Mohamed Salah. Not just in terms of ability and goals and assists and output and all that stuff. Longevity is kind of the key to all that. And I'm aware just saying, well, he's played for longer, we've done it for longer, doesn't win and close every single argument. But it's a hell of a long way towards doing it. And yeah. Anyway, he is a bit of a tit. I've noticed that. Well, no, listen, people do what people do, but that could never be me. I haven't got it in me for that to be me. It would be too fake, and I just haven't got that in me. Thank you very much. Chiesa. Yeah, I do appreciate it. I genuinely do. Everything's always been fine, by the way, but there is a good chance I've been quite tired recently. I love how hard we fought, David says, defensively with 4 or 5 goals. Just hungry. Yeah, hungry is a great word. Hungry's a great word. And that was evidenced defensively and in sort of the final third today. Just how ravid we were in getting the ball back and win the high. And actually got us 1 or 2 of the goals today as well. And the minute West Ham got it, we were on them. 2 or 3 players, Curtis Jones, Jota when he came on, Diaz all the time, just all over them like a rash. Like, that is not your footy. That does not belong to you. Win it back instantly. Absolutely instantly. Yeah, and what am I having for dinner? I've already had my dinner. I had like a curry thing through there before, during the half time, which was pleasant. Virgil centre forward, yeah, Johnny Cash. I mean, why not? Trying to get in on the goal act, I guess. And you know what? He did the first bit well. That little shift, the finish left a lot to be desired, but the little shift was nice. Very reminiscent of what I look like if I ever wandered up top in a game of footy, though. Bit too big to be up there, really. And listen, we've had some big centre forwards back in the day. Peter Crouch was probably the exception to what I'm saying here, because we don't have the best feet normally in the world. I'm definitely victim of that. Sounds. Let's dive into some more big boy games. As top performance, you'll never walk alone. 10 out of 10. Yeah, a lot of people talk about Endo as well. Yeah. I was really impressed with Endo. I was impressed with most of subs when they came on. Elliott and Timmercast had less time on the pitch, of course. But I thought Endo was good. Won the ball back nicely a couple of times and got us on the front foot as well with his passing, which is often underrated, it feels like, speaking of which. And who else came on? Jarell Quansah was the other one. And he wasn't tested necessarily in the way that he might have been, but I think it would have done him a world of good to come through that unscathed, play a big part in terms of the minutes in us getting a clean sheet, and yeah, just having a big win under his belt, because it does feel as though, and I've said this a few times on here and different things, like everything Quansah did, it's going to sound far worse than I mean it, by the way. I could have phrased this miles better. But every time he made a mistake, basically, that was always compounded by it leading to a goal. He couldn't get away with anything. Often you'll see Andy Robertson does this today, by the way. Andy Robertson, in the first few minutes, gives away the ball. He's just a bit lax on it, a bit too complacent. They nick it, away they go, they nearly score. He wasn't punished for it. Every time Jarell Quansah misplaced anything or missed something or whatever, they always scored off it, or it hit him, and it wouldn't rebound behind for a corner. It wouldn't fall to Van Dijk to clear. It would go in. It just felt like the whole world was against him for a bit. So to come on today for Quansah and have 60 minutes, whatever it was, under his belt, and it go quite well, is really important, because we don't know where Konate is going to be for next week. The likelihood is Gomez won't be fit and available, so we might need Jarell Quansah to take on Manchester United next weekend. So again, 60 minutes an hour under his belt of decent footy. Somebody mentioned the moment, the hands. Yeah, he probably does need to be careful with that. There wasn't enough in it for penalties for me, but I see where you're coming from. I think it was a Chrysler Somerville. He ended up sort of barging him out a little bit. But yeah, I haven't seen the Salah quotes on Sky, although they have just come up as a notification on my phone, so I'll try and get them up now. He's been asked about the Ballon d'Or. I've seen that. 1 second, so I am just getting them up as I speak. Only thing in my mind is for Liverpool to win the Premier League. Oh, he's asked about the Ballon d'Or, and that was his response. Okay. Yeah, I assume he's spoken about the contract, has he? I'll try and find them while I'm talking, eh? Let's multitask. What are your thoughts on his comments? Let's have it. And what are your thoughts on the Trent thing as well? I'll ask you that. because I can only read it one way, to be honest with you. Oh, he's far away from a contract. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I just fear this contract shit. I fear this contract shit so much. I hope so. I said it before the match today. I don't want it to derail or unsettle anything that we're doing, because on the pitch, we are doing all the right things. Like, we look so good. We look imperious at times. And what's so brilliant and fascinating about it, and somebody said it earlier on, there's more to come. Somebody said we didn't get out of fourth gear. I would argue we didn't get into fourth gear. I think we never got out of third gear, to be honest. So I just don't want this whole background noise and narrative of will they, won't they, to do anything to harm our season, because it hasn't done up until this point, obviously. Salah, Van Dijk, Trent remain brilliant. I thought Trent was exceptional today, by the way, and I know people will have other opinions, that's fine. But I thought he was brilliant. Like, I genuinely did. Some of his passing to piss take. The one down the line for Salah, and then the one he dinks into Salah, which should do better from, to be honest, we should score from. Just a joke. What he can do with a foot at his feet just bewilders me sometimes. But I just don't want this to become a distraction, basically. Whether it be as a fan base, as a team, as a collective, what we're trying to achieve, the manager, or even the players themselves. Because, again, it clearly hasn't. Salah's putting up numbers like we've never really seen before at Liverpool Football Club. Virgil van Dijk remains Virgil van Dijk. Trent, as I've just said, still a genius with a ball at his feet. However, let's get to March, and none of these are resolved yet. And all of a sudden, the noise or the actual contact between Real Madrid and Trent is a thing, or somebody comes in for Van Dijk, PSG, whatever. That might just change something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I hope not. I hate being negative, but it's kind of this. And you know what? It's obviously never been more apparent to me than when I do shows like this. And it's not a bad thing, by the way, because the talking point is the talking point, if you like. We've just battered West Ham 5-0, and I come and sit here, and one of the main things we have to talk about is the contract situations, because they're the elephants in the room, because it's three of our most important assets and footballers, and in terms of what we can do and what we can achieve this season, they're absolutely integral. So we can't avoid it. And it's really frustrating. And I'd love nothing more than to come in and just talk about how boss we were then. 5 different goal scorers. Mo Salah taking the piss again. Aren't we just mustard? We're going to win everything. But we can't. And I'm as guilty as anyone for it, because it's such a big topic, ultimately. Such a big topic. Yeah, Trent stays for Klopp, not Slot. Maybe, I don't know. Listen, I'd have been inclined to agree with you 6 months ago, but I think we've seen enough of Arne Slot's Liverpool side now, and Trent's probably seen enough of him on the training pitch now to suggest that, yeah, he knows he's irreplaceable at Liverpool. I know Conor Bradley's boss, but Trent's irreplaceable. Nobody can do what he does from right back, joke. But in terms of what Slot's been able to do with this side in such a short period of time, that's enough of a sample size for any footballer to want to stick around and believe something special. And let's not forget, if we keep Salah and Virgil aside for 1 minute, and I'll spin back around to the game once I finish this point, is whatever you think of Trent and how this is playing out and what might or might not happen, Liverpool Football Club remains very much in his veins and in his blood. Like, he has reached the top of the mountain for Liverpool in terms of he's won the captain's armband, he's won the Premier League, he's won the Champions League. That is still a huge, huge element of his life. So to have all of that, but then also have the fact that there could still be more to come and more of that glory, and there's more to achieve in his career, they're two really powerful forces that, in my opinion, should make him stay. One of them existed in the summer. The other one was, I don't know what Liverpool are anymore because Klopp's not there. I don't know what this new version of Liverpool looks like. That isn't even a question now. It looks like top of the league, 8 points clear with a game in hand. Anyway, I remain hopeful. I've said it a million times. I remain hopeful. So let's all keep our fingers crossed and hope 2025 brings us some new contracts. That's my New Year's resolution. New contracts for Liverpool. Doesn't even make sense, but I'm saying it anyway. Mahmoud Mustafa with a super chat, thank you very much. Diaz is an unsung hero who's everywhere today, he should be respected more. Yeah, listen, Diaz has been phenomenal this season for me, not just in terms of his goals and in terms of what he's able to do on the footy pitch, but you said it there, the work he puts in every single time he steps out there is just second to none. So yeah, I do not underestimate Luis Diaz and how important he is. Nor do I underestimate, somebody made the point earlier on, it's well gone now, but Alexis Mac Allister, I think he is one of the most underrated footballers at Liverpool because, again, I feel like I've said it 10 times in the past couple of months, but week in, week out, he just produces a certain level of performance. Today was probably up a little bit from that, if I'm being really honest. But he's like constantly an 8, sometimes borders a 9, very rarely borders a 7. That's kind of where I'm at Alexis every single time he plays for us. And it's very rare that he gets the credit or the flowers or the praise, the headlines. He does every now and then because he produces moments of magic, goals, assists. Should have had an assist today, as already mentioned. The Salah touch in the pass was just right out the top drawer, world class. But everything he does it with such an authority. He wins his duels. He gets us on the front foot. He gets us on the front foot in a way whereby not a lot of other players can, because he sees things, because he's got that eye of a 10 whilst playing in quite a withdrawn 8 role. He's just key to us, absolutely key to us. And there's a lot of key players in Liverpool Football Club. I've made this point once or twice as well recently. So, but you've obviously got your big hitters, your game changers, the ones who literally single-handedly can win your games of football. Your Salahs, Van Dijk, Trent, Diaz in that conversation, Gakpo in that conversation as well, and that probably. I would have Mac Allister just below them. Not in terms of, again, ability to just turn a game like that and be the guy to produce a moment of utter brilliance to win it, but in terms of importance to the side, I think he's key. Really key. So yeah, anyway, I'll stop talking. Last few minutes now, and I will wrap up this bit. People are arguing with this busy fella. Busy, I don't know who you are, mate. I just don't know who you are, and I don't like your name. I can tell you that. So whatever you're arguing about with people in the chat, I think I saw you're an Arsenal fan. Yeah, I think I saw this. I mean, why are you even in here doing this? Like, I don't understand. Have you not got, like, Robbie in that to shout some mad stuff at? About corners or something? Like, I don't understand. Listen, I mean, I welcome all comers, but if you've got to come in and just argue with people after we've just battered West Ham 5-0, I don't understand. What is there to possibly argue about? Like, I don't get. I've seen somebody mention like deflection or injuries or. I mean, what? What are you on about? Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on with our lives. Do I think Chiesa will stay? Yeah. Oh God, I proper second guess myself. Then I don't know. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I think so. I think he will stay, but I can't set out of any conviction anymore, which is such a mad place to be. I need to know why he wasn't there today. Then I'll have a proper answer for you. Let's put it that way. I don't understand. Okay, busy. Fair enough. Who do you support then, my mate? Thanks very much, Dax. It is, isn't it? It's an absolute finger beauty. Yeah, I just. No, it's not on their merch. It's a Liverpool official thing. Possibly. You'd like to think they were all. Listen, I love the togetherness of this football team. I love the fact that might be the case, that they'd all be in it together and stick as one, and the unity. That's great. But I also imagine that they would be sort of quite individualistic in their hopes, dreams, ambitions, goals, that they'd see what's best for their own career and make a decision based on that. Yeah, nicely done. No problem at all. What was I talking about before? Like Chiesa. That's what I was talking about. Got distracted there. Busy's living rent-free. Chiesa. Yeah, I need to know why he wasn't there today, because the makeup of that bench, and nobody loves Liverpool's academy lads more than I do. As some of you may know, I go and watch them quite a lot and do some reporting on them and all that sort of stuff. So I love the fact that they are breaking into Liverpool's first team ranks. There's some wonderful talent there. Some of it we have seen, some of it we haven't seen. Just, yeah, some brilliant footballers. But they shouldn't be getting into the squad ahead of Federico Chiesa. And that goes for James McConnell, but it most definitely goes for Jayden Danns. Jayden Danns has missed like 3 months of footy this season. Like, he hardly got up and running at all with his own season at under 21 level. And yet today, he was on the bench ahead of Chiesa. Now, if Chiesa's sick, again, if he's injured, again, fine. But if he's fit and he's ready and he's not been chosen, that's a different conversation. I'm sorry. It wouldn't make any sense to me at all. Because, again, I like Jayden Danns. I think Jayden Danns has got a very bright future. Maybe a loan in January to come for him. One to watch. But if you're a 27-year-old international and you've done what you've done in your career today, albeit blighted by injuries more recently, you have to be in that squad. Like, you can't look at Jayden Danns. I think he's 18 still, Jayden Danns, and be like, oh yeah, it's fine, off you go, you enjoy the trip to West Ham, I'll just stick around the Merseyside. Like, that makes no sense. No sense at all. I would be, if that happened to me in like sporting circles that I've been in, I'd be fuming. I'd be asking serious questions of, first and foremost, the selection policy and why that's happened. But then if I got some answers, look at myself and go, what am I doing? Why am I not being chosen for this? Like, what am I doing wrong, basically? And if you can't find a solution to any of that, that's when you have to have another conversation about maybe trying to find a resolution by something else happening, which might mean leaving the football club. Let's do the last couple of comments now, and then I will wrap up. Yes, I did address this earlier on. Pretty much, JD, yeah. But do stick around and help me with it anyway, because a lot of them will be in boss, but it does still matter just how high they are. Plus, I'll be dead honest with you, there's not enough room for them all in boss. We made 5 subs, that's 16 lads. They ain't fitting in there. We got big squares these days. They're like, not coasters, table mats. Is that what they're called? Things to put your plate on it, didn't it? I wasn't particularly well brought up. I'm doing the player rankings. I'll be doing it in like 2 minutes. I will wrap up. Gaz does not see a future for Anfield at Chiesa. I feel like it was a panic buy for no reason. Yeah, I made this point in the pre-match show as well earlier on. Not yet, Hussein, we hope. Maybe it was a panic buy, but also maybe Arne Slot wants a 6th senior attacking option and hence going to get Chiesa. But what I would say, if that is the case, and he does really want that, it looks like it's not Chiesa. As we sit here right now, with the evidence we have at our disposal, he ain't the answer. So maybe in January we have to do something with Chiesa or go and find another one who can be the answer for us. So that whole situation might actually allow us or mean that we do a bit of transfer business that's a little bit unexpected, potentially. Yeah. Anyway, I do look young, don't I? And terrible, by the way. I hate clean-shaven me, cards on the table. But yeah, if I had the time to make those cards, I would do. But this is like a process to shave, because the initial shave, which literally happens this afternoon, by the way, this is like fresh as it gets for me, is a painful one. But then like the result in like 2-3 days is just about worth it. But that's enough about me and my shaving habits. Because as all things Disney says, this team is cooking. You'll never walk alone. Yeah, we are boss, aren't we? We are pretty boss. Chiesa seems to sound like that's all right then. Keep him. Listen, I like sound lads, so keep him around. Yeah, it's dreadful, isn't it? Anyway, I will wrap up this part of the show because you've all had enough of me talking about my beard or lack thereof, and then let's move on with our lives. And I will do the player ranking show, but I do need you for that bit. I've said millions of times, I do need you for this bit, because this bit's important to have you guys around, but the next bit's fucking vital. Otherwise, I'm just stood at a board putting faces next to stuff that doesn't make any sense. So stick around. I'll be over there in literally like a minute. So help me. See you in a sec.